Hi, this is Dr. Pike again for LDR430. This is week 6, and this is the second part of the Kotter text. Our iceberg is melting. Tonight we're going to take a look at the 8-step process of successful change. Now, if you went through Kotter's book, it's not a very involved book. It's pretty transparent in its ideas for recognizing a situation and bringing others around to your way of thinking for solutions. And in that, we're going to go over this abbreviated lecture real quick to allow you to get to the multiple deliverables that you have to submit in the way of assignments this week. So let's get this started. Setting the stage. One must create a sense of urgency. You have to help others to see the need for change, and they need to understand the immediacy of the situation. Putting together the guiding team. These individuals have to have credibility, communications ability, and I would add to this list, the credibility includes accountability. So if there's any issues, these people need to know that they can step forward and say that there's a problem without suffering any kind of negative repercussions, and collective, solution seeking that arises from that without browbeating the individual for an innocent mistake. Authority, we have to give them authority to make these decisions. So whether it be delegating a specific task or that individual having command of the team for a time, that needs to happen. The persons that we need the right people for the right job. And so these persons have to have the specific skill set in which that we're trying to elicit. And in that, we need to recognize talent. We need to recognize that this stuff can't all fall on our shoulders. We need to seek out those characteristics in others that we need to get the job done. And all of these people need to understand that there's a sense of urgency in completing the task. We decide what to do. We develop the change vision and develop a strategy. We clarify how the future will be different from the past and how you can make that future a reality. We draw a roadmap for persons, and that's how we generate the buy-in that's necessary to make this change happen. We communicate for understanding. These persons have a full, transparent view of the process, and they're going to want to have some ownership over their portion of this change. You make sure as many others as possible understand and accept the vision and strategy. That's key. If you have dissenters, these persons can sabotage any kind of forward momentum in a transformational change project. Again, we talked about authority and giving others authority, so we want to empower them to act. We want to remove as many variables in the way of barriers as possible so that those who want to make the vision a reality can do so. So I like that little picture at the bottom of the support for the bridge, and that's basically in my mind's eye what this looks like. You're enabling others to succeed. Produce short-term wins. Create some visible, unambiguous successes as soon as possible. And then you celebrate those wins. You take a moment to let other people bask in the achievement, and you give them a tangible reminder. And it doesn't matter, if that's a pen, a writing pen, or some sort of desk accoutrement for their workspace, so that they can understand that we celebrate things. We celebrate small victories until they become larger victories. And then it becomes a culture of trying to exceed the norms. Don't let up. Press harder, faster. After the first successes, be relentless with initiating change after change until the vision is a reality. And what this says basically is work hard in silence. Let successes make all the noise. In that, you know, I was involved with, well, I have been involved in law enforcement for the last 24 years, different variances. I began with, the sheriff's department, and then I went into code enforcement. And in that, I can tell you that throughout all that time, throughout all those 24 years, if you look up and you're looking around at the landscape, you'll notice that a lot of people have fallen by the wayside or gone on to something else. And I took what was presented to me in our academy to mean something. We would go on these long runs and there'd be a hill in front of us. And what you would do is you'd avert your gaze. You'd focus on the road in front of you. And in my mind, I said there was no hill until I wasn't running up a hill. I was running on flat ground in my mind's eye, and then before I knew it, the run was over. But if I focused on the destination too hard, then I started to question myself and wonder if I would ever make it. You want to create a new culture. Hold on to the new ways of behaving and make sure they succeed until they become strong enough to replace old traditions. Love that little picture on the bottom. Even under adverse conditions, life can thrive. And we've all seen examples of this. But becoming an example of this is what's important. And that's what you're doing on your leadership journey. You're wanting this for other people. You're wanting them to excel. And the thing is that good leaders make more leaders. I heard this all the way through my doctoral program that, mechanics make cars, the construction workers make houses, but doctors make more doctors. And I think that's an important analogy to hang on to. Now, as I said before, this is the end of the lecture. I've made it very short tonight because I want to make certain that you get to all the assignments that you have to do in this course. Again, Dr. Davis and I are both reflective practitioners, and we are available to you. The best way to get a hold of us is via email. So if you need something, include us both in your email, and let's succeed together. Anyway, that's the lecture for this evening. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you that participated in the mid-course survey. It really helps us to be able to make changes in these courses. Maybe not in the interim, maybe not so quickly because a lot of things are done by committee, but at least it allows us to see how the students are experiencing the learning. Anyway, thank you very much. God bless you. We'll see you next week.